Let's talk to Patrick Henningsen now. Sure, he's on the line. He's a geopolitical analyst and founder of 21st Century Wire. He's on the line live. Hi there, Patrick. Evening to you. So, looks like the States is out of the woods. Still no details yet, though. How can politicians, this is the question that's being asked by so many people, have allowed the situation to get this far? It's almost, for want of a better word, like a kind of pantomime, isn't it?
Well, that's a good choice of words, Kevin. This really looks to me like a WWF wrestling match. In other words, there was no way, and we actually said this last week on our website, there was no way that the government was going to default on the debt simply because the U.S. government has approximately, it's not exact figure, but $250 billion a month in total receipts. They pay maybe around 10% interest on that to the bankers. So they pay on that debt. That's one of the greatest business arrangements ever, and there's no way that would ever come to an end. The U.S. government in its present form cannot exist without expanding, despite what Harry Reid and others say. In its bloated form, it needs to expand, and therefore it needs new lines of credit.
The last time it was this bad was in 1995, wasn't it? I mean, this time the public haven't really had the stomach for it, have they? We're hearing there's more and more acrimony about it as time's gone on. What is the American general feeling about what their government's doing?
Well, I think the political damage has already been done. And although the GOP or the Republican opposition's going to be the first target of blame, eventually I believe the American people will see this as a black mark on the White House. In other words, the political gamesmanship ultimately, despite the blame game over Obamacare or anything else, is really up to the White House and to the executive. That's why the American people elect the president, to avoid situations like this, not to exacerbate them. And time will tell. That is how the epitaph will be written.
Well, we were talking to veterans last night. They're firmly blaming Obama for it. Who do you think is responsible? Who do you think the public should hold responsible, moreover?
Yeah, I believe that the public is taking up more self-responsibility in engaging more in this situation, more than in past years. But really, the ultimate responsibility lies on politicians in Washington, both Democrats and Republicans, who have basically been involved, both of them, colluding to expand the size of the U.S. federal government. Now, you just had the senator say that 2 years federal spending has been in decline. But what he's not telling you is that over the last 10 years, federal spending has skyrocketed. So that little decline he's talking about is a small blip in a bigger trend. And it's almost like they have to keep running back to the same banks for new lines of credit. You know, the U.S. dollar has held its own despite the sort of skyrocketing in the cost of insuring U.S. debt. But, you know, how long can this situation go on?
Just a final thought. Sorry about it, we're just slightly running out of time. Just final 30 seconds. Of course, even if it does get through, and we do hear this announcement over the next 10, 15 minutes or so, it's probably only putting off the problem until early next year, isn't it?
Yeah, you're exactly correct. I'm also going to point out that during the government shutdown, President Obama met with executives from Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan. We don't know what he talked about, which is in violation of the Anti-Deficiency Act of 1870. So you can see who really runs the country in the United States, and it's not the politicians. Look at who the politicians go to during times of crisis. They go to the banks, they get new lines of credit. Our question is, what collateral has the president or the government pledged to these banks for these new extended lines of credit? Is it new taxes down the road? Is it assets, state assets? We don't know. Very
good questions you're raising, Patrick. I'm afraid we're a bit over time. We've got to get to a break. But to Patrick Henningsen there, geopolitical analyst, founder of 21st Century Wire, thanks for that. You're watching RT. It's 8:32.